The opulent chandeliers of Lucille restaurant bathed the gleaming marble floors. In a warm golden light, Alina Petrova smoothed her sophisticated black gown, tucking a wisp of fair hair behind her ear as she deftly balanced 3 plates of grilled salmon along her arm. 6 months in America, yet she hadn't fully adjusted to the burden of duty that came with serving at Manhattan's most prestigious dining venue. At 26, Alina carried herself with understated grace, her vivid blue eyes, sharp cheekbones, and poised movements often catching the gaze of patrons. Still, she had mastered the art of staying professional and aloof. This job was vital. The funds she sent to St. Petersburg sustained her grandmother's heart treatments. Tonight was exceptionally hectic, every table filled with New York's elite, tycoons in bespoke suits, celebrities aiming for discretion, and aristocratic families exuding refined wealth. Alina glided between tables, her smile unwavering despite her weary feet. At exactly 8:43 Village System, 43 p.m., a group of four settled at table 12 in her section. Alina instantly recognized Richard Harrington, the famously exacting venture capitalist, whose wealth reportedly surpassed $3 billion. His reputation was well known among the staff, meticulous demands paired with lavish tips that seemed to offset his curt demeanor. Harrington scarcely glanced at her while she took their beverage orders, engrossed in a heated discussion about investment tactics and market trends with confident authority. Alina stepped away to retrieve their drinks when her phone buzzed in her pocket. Against strict policy, she typically wouldn't answer during a shift, but she'd been awaiting news of her grandmother's operation, and worry overpowered her caution. Slipping into a secluded nook near the kitchen, she checked the screen. An unfamiliar number with Russia's +7 code. "Pardon me," she murmured to a passing co-worker. "Family crisis." Tucked behind an elaborate pillar, Alina pressed the phone to her ear. "Hello," she said softly in Russian, her voice naturally shifting to her mother tongue. The line crackled with static, her grandmother's frail voice barely audible. Alina listened closely, replying swiftly in Russian, relief flooding her. As she heard the surgery was a success, tears brimmed in her eyes upon learning her grandmother would fully recover. "I love you, babushka," Alina whispered before hanging up. Turning, she found Richard Harrington standing nearby, his face inscrutable. Panic surged through her. Had he seen her? Was her job at risk? "I'm so sorry, sir," she said, pocketing her phone. "A personal matter. I'll bring your drinks." Immediately, Harrington scrutinized her for a prolonged moment, his eyes slightly squinted, then wordlessly returned to his table. For the rest of the night, Alina tended to their table with flawless care, hoping to atone for her lapse. To her astonishment, Harrington's demeanor softened. His gaze held intrigue rather than irritation. When they departed, his tip exceeded their bill's total. Alina thought little of it until the next afternoon when her manager summoned her. "Someone's here for you," he said, his tone unusually tense. In the restaurant's private lounge stood a man in a sharp black suit. Not Harrington, but clearly his associate. "Miss Petrova," he said formally, "Mr. Harrington requests your attendance at a business meeting. A car awaits outside." Bewilderment and unease stirred within her. "I'm working tonight," she replied. Her manager intervened. "Your shift is covered. Mr. Harrington has arranged with the restaurant." "What arrangements?" Alina asked warily. "The kind we don't refuse," her manager answered with a strained smile. A sleek black car took her to a private airstrip outside the city, where a Gulfstream G650 Harrington's private jet gleamed in the afternoon sun. The suited man led her aboard, where Richard Harrington sat reviewing papers. He looked up, motioning to the seat opposite him. Today, he wore no bow tie, but his navy suit was flawlessly tailored. "Miss Petrova," he said, "thank you for coming." Alina stood firm. "Mr. Harrington, I don't understand why I'm here." He set his documents aside. "Last night, I heard you speaking Russian perfect, native Russian." Alina nodded warily. "Yes, I was born in St. Petersburg. I'm finalizing a deal with Volkov Industries in Moscow next week." Harrington continued. "My interpreter canceled this morning due to a personal emergency. Your fluency could solve my issue." Alina blinked, processing. "You need me to interpret?" I need someone who grasps subtleties, who can read the room, he said, leaning forward. I'll pay you $50,000 for 3 days. The sum silenced her. It could fund her grandmother's care for years. Why me? She asked. There are professional interpreters. They lack your instincts, Harrington replied. I observed you last night. You anticipate needs and read people well, crucial for negotiations. Alina sat slowly. If I decline, my driver will take you home, and you'll keep serving exquisite dishes at Lucille, he said with a shrug. But I suspect you have personal reasons to accept family, perhaps. Her grandmother's face flashed in her mind. When do we leave? Now, Harrington replied. The meeting was rescheduled. 3 days later, as the Gulf Stream approached JFK, Alina gazed out the window. The Moscow talks were intense but triumphant, her insights catching subtle threats and openings in the Russian executive's careful wording. You're gifted, Harrington said, breaking the quiet. Your grasp of language transcends words. Alina turned. My grandmother, a literature professor before the Soviet fall, taught me that language is about the gaps between words. Harrington nodded thoughtfully. I want you as a cultural consultant for my global ventures to $100. $0 a year to start. The plane landed softly, echoing the leap in Alina's heart. Why trust a stranger with such a role? She asked. I trust what I see, he said. Loyalty to family, sharpness under pressure, and integrity in talks, rare qualities. As they stepped off, Alina paused on the jet's stairs, the cool evening air brushing her face. Manhattan's skyline sparkled with promise. 6 months ago, she arrived with only hope and resolve. Now, a new path had emerged. I need to call my grandmother, she said at last. Harrington's first warm smile appeared. Tell her you'll visit soon, first class, naturally. Alina nodded, a quiet awe enveloping her. Sometimes, life shifted profoundly, not through grand schemes, but because you answered a call you shouldn't have.